Hey everyone, my name's Croak and welcome to the video. So today is a requested tutorial to show you guys how I go about making my ThreadsJournal posts. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you go over to my threads, which is threads.net/CroakWonders, I'm not really sure how the URL works. It'll be down there somewhere. Basically, it has become a trend over on Threads, which is Instagram's answer to Twitter. Where you do the Threads journal. And basically, what you do is you take pictures throughout the day and then you edit them and slap some text on them, make them look nice and aesthetic, and then upload them at the end of the day as kind of like a journal to show what you've done through the day. Kind of different to how stories works, but I prefer this method of stories. And a few people have been asking me now how I go about editing my stuff, and they've been asking for a tutorial, so here it is. I'm going to show you two ways on how to do it. The first way is going to be doing it on a desktop PC. This will probably also apply the same flow over on Mac. I'll be able to tell you guys when I migrate over to Mac in the new year. And then the second way I'm going to show you guys how to do it is also by doing it over on an iPad. Just so you know, you don't always have to be at your PC to do this. If you have an iPad, it's also something you can do on the flow whilst you're out and about as well. So, without further ado, we will get cracking with how I go about it on PC. So first things, what we do, I slap any photo that I can into Lightroom. I use, for when I'm actually doing proper photo editing for what you see on Instagram, I use Lightroom Classic. I prefer using that. But for this particular method and how I do about Threads journals, because Lightroom CC is both on iOS and Android and on your PC, and they sync across platforms, it's easier to use Lightroom. There is also a free version of Lightroom on mobile, but we'll get to that as that doesn't really apply to the desktop version. So we'll pick a photo that I've done, that I've edited, and this was from yesterday when me and my partner went out to Birmingham last night to go to a concert. And this is a nice picture I took of the BT Tower on my new phone, which is being recorded as the video, by the way. I'm testing how Apple Log works and how fun that's to play around with. So this is a photo I took of the BT Tower. What I'm going to do, I'll reset this photo. So this is what it's like straight out of my iPhone's camera. And my editing process for these pictures doesn't really take a lot. I hit it with an auto straight away just to see what it thinks it does. And then I slap some of my a preset on it, and I have a shitload that I've gathered over the years. But the ones that I'm using at the moment are from Nord Studios. I will link these down in the description because I know some of you guys have also been asking what presets I use. So I use these two at the moment from Nord Studios, a cinematic movie one and a Tokyo City one. So the Tokyo City one is mainly for night shots, for doing city photography or street photography, which is perfect for this. So the one I slapped on it was this Enigma preset, which automatically adds the exact mood that I'm after. But obviously the whole thing's dark and we don't want that. So we are going to create a new mask by selecting the subject. I'm not really too fussed about it, selecting this building over here. So I'm just going to brighten it up a bit just so the BT Tower is clearly the subject of what we got going on here. I'm also going to add a gradient overlay just to kind of darken down here, so there's not too much distraction around here, and then your eye kind of just naturally follows this. It's also kind of framed really nicely as well, so I don't have to worry about that. I am just going to crop in just a touch. I should have really done this before everything else, but it is what it is. So that's the photo pretty much. Very rough edit, but that's pretty much what I do for these kind of photos for the journals. I don't want to spend ages, in Lightroom editing the photo for the sake of doing this every day when I'm doing it to like 8 photos a day. It takes too much time. So then what I can do from here is, so some people will use Photoshop, some people will use Affinity to edit their photos. I've recently migrated over to Affinity because I got it in the Black Friday deals. But you can pretty much do the same method that I'm going to do in Photoshop and Affinity, and yeah, well, I'll show you how I do it in Photoshop, and I'll show you how to do it in Affinity. So if you have either, software, it's easy to do. But when we move to the iPad, I will just be using Affinity. So straight away we have this. Let me just remove the guide. Straight away, all I will do for this one is add some text. The fonts, by the way, what I'm using for these photos are Ketchup Manis, which is one that I got from Gumroad. Again, I'll link that in the description. And the other font that I'm using for like the subtext is called Tropical Calm is the other font that I'm using. I did used to use a combination of this font here called Blue Text, and I used to use Futura Bold, but I really like the look of these two together. So this is the main text that we have. So we'll just use the word street for now. Just make that nice and big. Easy peasy. We will put it here. And then all we're going to pretty much do now is... So this is something I always forget. I always forget to apply my mask on the lens. On the layer, before I'm about to do it. If you want to know how to apply a mask, just click this little button down here on Lightroom. It's slightly different, I think, on Affinity. I can't remember. Okay. Also, make sure you're selecting the right layer when you're selecting an area. Okay, I think that'll do. Yeah. Okay. So that's the area selected that we want to basically add the depth effect, basically, at the text. So make sure we select the mask layer on the text, which is this white box here. Make sure our brush is set to black, and voila. The text is now behind the BT tower to add that little effect. If you want to add the perspective, here we go. We might have to adjust the thing. So... As you can tell, I did not plan any of this, but this is typically how I go about doing videos. So what I ended up doing, I went to the Edit tab up here, Transform. I clicked Warp, but I don't think I had to. I just clicked Free Transform. Make sure this layer is rasterized. I don't think you can do it on just a text layer. And then if you want to add some perspective onto it. So, in fact, I think for this one in particular, I want it coming towards us. So you just play around with these angles a little bit. Do it like that. And we'll have to redo the mask. We'll have to refine that a bit. Again, make sure you're selected on the layer that you want to appear in front. So that'll do nicely. This is very rough. And then again, just touch that up. So now it appears like that's behind it. If you want to add some style to it, you can always lower the opacity. If you want to add a little bit of drop shadow. Just so it kind of looks like it's also floating in the air. That also works. The only problem then you have is if you add too much shadow, you get this. Obviously the shadow leaks onto the item or the subject that you want the text to leave behind. So all you have to do if you want that is, you can see here, that's there. Again, just one way to get around it without rasterizing it is just put it in a folder. Oh, I transferred the effects there. And then you can add a mask directly to a group. And then just, oh, that is not the right thing. And then just touch it up there. Do it like that. Again, if I am rushing this and you're not following along, I do apologize. It's been a long time since I've done any kind of tutorial. There you go. So now it is fully behind. Obviously, you can refine the line so it isn't as janky as that. If you want to make them perfectly straight, you can always use the pen tool. I activate that with P, or you can go over here like the pen tool, and you just go down in a straight line like that, and then do that, right click, make selection. That brings this up, and then again you can just go over that, and then the line is a lot more straight and less jagged. So that's one way you can do that. So that's how you go about doing it on Photoshop on PC. Now if I bring it over to Affinity, which again I can open up straight through this as well, back into Lightroom, we go edit, we go photo, and then it will take a while to open it up in Affinity. So here we are. It's kind of the same process. You grab your text here. We'll do the same again. We'll put street in. We will change this to that. Make that white. We will do that, and then we can do perspective tool, which is over here. Again, we want it to kind of look like it's looking down on us, kind of thing, like so. Make sure you apply that, and the amount of times I have to go back and redo it because I forget to apply it. Now we just need to do the same thing again. We apply the mask by hitting that, and then we hide that layer while we select this. Get the selection tool here, and let me just increase that brush size, which I'm doing with the Stream Deck because I set up a Stream Deck Plus profile for it because I missed the one I had on Lightroom. You see, it selects it really well, actually. I think I actually prefer how well that selected it on Affinity. Add that there. So that's the bit we want to scrub out of our text layer. Again, we select our brush tool, make sure it's on black, and ta-da, there we go. Again, you can obviously straighten up these lines if you want because it is a bit jagged, or we can just go in and make the selection a little bit more accurate. I'm just going down these lines here, and it'll tidy it up a bit better for us. Again, if you want to just manually do these lines, you can. I think it's the same way how you do it on Affinity, but I haven't done it manually yet, so I'm not going to tell you how to do it if I don't know myself. And again, we just brush that out. Voila, the text is now behind the BT tower. Again, if you want to add a drop shadow to it, you can go to the quick effects, and it's called an outer shadow on Affinity. You can just do that, and again, you'd have to go over just the finer lines over here with your mask. And then once you've done that, just export the photo, and then I finish the process over on my iPad, which we are going to now move over to. Right, okay, so over on the iPad, pretty much it's the same process. I go into Lightroom, I pick what photo I want to edit. So again, we'll use the BT one. We'll use the BT tower one, which is this image. We'll save that to the iPad. We will bring that over from here, and then we'll open it up in Affinity Photo. So here we are in Affinity. All we want to do is open and then import photos. By the way, I'm doing this through the iPad because I don't want to screen record on the iPad and then it's slow performance for the video. So for the sake of it, I'm just going to do it this way. Hopefully I can explain things clear enough, please, so you guys know what's going on. So again, here we are with our BT Tower image. So pretty much straight away, same concept. You just want to write the text. So we just did street. Obviously that's pretty massive, so we tune that down, put it in. We'll turn on the magnet. Move that up. First off, we want to select all of it. We want to change the font to our main eye-catching text. We put that in all caps. By going over here to the character tab, and then you press that. So the layout obviously on the iPad for Affinity is slightly different from that of the one on desktop and Lightroom. but the concept is still pretty much the same. Once you get the basics down, it's pretty easy. Now again, what we want to do is add a mask to this text here. So to do that on the iPad, we press the plus button, and then we go down here, and there's a little thing that says mask layer. Click that, then you have that little square just here. But first, we want to go and select our BT tower so we can put the text behind it. Again, click the Smart Selection brush and just go over it. Again, you can be as close to the lines as you want to with this by zooming in and making sure it's a bit more straight. But for the sake of this video, and to be honest, most of the pictures that I do for this ThreadsJournal trend, I'm not particularly bothered about having them perfectly straight for the sake of, like I said, I'm doing 8 of these sometimes a day. That's a lot of work. So I'm not too bothered. If it was something that I was posting on Instagram or, some client work, whatever, obviously, then that will be a lot more important to get right first time and make sure the lines are properly straight. So that's the mask area that we're going to put the text behind it. So we reactivate the thing. On iPad for Affinity, there's these little circles that hide the layers. You just tap that and it'll appear and disappear. So that's that done. Select paintbrush. Again, make sure we are on black there. Select the white square to make sure you're selecting the mask layer. And then just, like magic, the text is now behind. Also, to deselect the area you've selected, just click on this little square up here and then just deselect. The text is now behind it. If you want to add the perspective effect that I've been doing with some of these, where, like we just showed, that it's kind of looking down on you, all you have to do is make sure you have text selected over here. And then on, I believe it is, you press this like little egg timer looking icon over here on the right hand side. And that brings up your filters. And then you just want to keep scrolling until you find the perspective. And again, now you can just bring this in to make it look like the text is looking down on you, like the little people that we are. And then again, you would have to then also make sure you press the tick, because that always gets me. I always end up getting to do that. Now, this could be a better job. Now it looks like it's slanted. Doesn't really matter. For the sake of the video, you get what I'm talking about. You can see it's rasterized the layer, so now the mask layer is gone. So you want to add another mask to this. Ideally, you want to do the perspective and then add the mask, but this is the way I end up doing it. You want to go back on your background layer, reselect where you want it to be masked. You're going to have to add some here, which is fine. We can do that in a second. I'll show you guys how to re-add stuff. So, and then we go back on here again, brush, make sure it's on black, erase what you don't want there. Now this is, you obviously want that little bit there. So what I will do for that bit, select the smart selection, deselect our current selection. I will just add that there. Subtract that little triangle. Brush. Now what we want to do, we want to make, if you were adding stuff back to the mask that we accidentally erased, you want to have your brush set to white, and then that will bring back. I don't know why, oh no, wait, no, I did a boo-boo chat. Select that, then that, there we go, and now it's back to normal. So what I've done here is a mistake, and I'm always about transparency. I'll be very transparent with you here, because what is missing here, what is missing in this section here was from our previous mask before we did the perspective warp. That has basically been lost unless you want to go all the way back to this bit here. And then pretty much going to have to do everything all over again. So from here, what you'd basically do is you'd add the perspective from here. You'd add the perspective now, then mask, and do it there. Kind of a mess, but yeah, that's how you do it. And then you just export it there. So then what you end up doing, to add the little squiggles that people have been asking about, you open up the native Photos app on iOS. You can also do this on your iPhone directly, but it's easier on iPad when you have a pencil. And I'll pick this, this image of Bentley that was parked opposite us last night. Straightforward, simple stuff. Just open the photo, press the little 3 lines down here, press the pencil, and then here you go. You can just do this and just write on it. This is nice. Smiley face. And, stuff like that. Obviously, you don't need an Apple Pencil or a fake Apple Pencil like me or an iPad to do these squiggles. You can do that. Do these natively in the photo app on iPhone as well. I just find them easier to do on my iPad because of the pencil. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this tutorial. As you can tell, it's dark now. It's a lot more bright in here with all my lights because I vastly underestimated how big Apple log files are. So, yeah, I learned that. I do apologize if it was hard to follow along with everything going on in the tutorial. If you want me to redo these things or make a more in-depth one, let me know down in the comments near the like button. I will do my best to make a better version for you guys. If you've got any questions, again, feel free to leave a comment. Typical YouTuber stuff, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Hope this helps you guys improve your Threads journals and you know how to make them pop and have a bit more character about them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Peace.